Hey guys, what is up? It's Kat here, and we are back for another 12:30 in the morning Bad Batch episode review. And this one, of course, is going to be for this week's episode 4. I really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna be using the V word so many times throughout this video, vibe. I know some of you probably hate when I say that, and I use that word a lot, I feel like, when I describe an episode, but this episode was giving me vibes, like so many of them. This new planet, Pantora, reminded me so much of Underworld Coruscant, and specifically seeing like Omega run, the kind of parallel between her running in this tight kind of like underworld city, that paralleled with like Ahsoka Tano running away and trying to hide in underworld like Coruscant. Those, to me, felt really similar. I loved the Coruscant-esque feel of this episode, and perhaps that's why it kind of reminded me way more of a Clone Wars episode. It felt very like a familiar type setting where we have seen our characters kind of on a chase scenario before. That being said, I also very much got like Attack of the Clones vibe. Fennec Shand, who it was really cool to see. I was not expecting her to show up this early in the season, but it's not surprising considering I've been assuming that someone's gonna be trying to track Omega down. I don't know why I was shocked to see her so soon, but it does feel very appropriate that her cameo is coming in now. It feels like good timing, and I also like how this is helping to dynamicize the plot again. It's no longer just them trying to evade the Empire or trying to not get caught, but now they know that they are being hunted, and they know that they can't just lay low because Fennec is literally tracking them. And Hunter, obviously, as a tracker himself or someone with those abilities who is able to tell that Fennec is clearly skilled and knows how to hunt them down, and he's clearly able to tell that she's a bounty hunter, I'm sure that he of all people would know that it's going to be a really difficult task now to try to hide from her. And so it will be interesting to see how now this new obstacle is gonna kind of light a fire underneath them and change maybe their plan. I am very excited about this new dynamic to the plot, which I know some people have been saying has been kind of slow. I haven't felt like the plot has been slow. I mean, it seems kind of in line with the early beginnings of like, I don't know, Clone Wars arcs and stuff like that. So I'm being patient. Like, again, I don't even think it's been slow, really. Like, it's kind of met my expectations in terms of what we've known from the trailers, but I think this was a much needed addition to help kind of add some stakes to the scenario and also add a familiar face that we know, Fennec Shand. It was really cool to see her now in animated form, but still having Ming-Na Wen's voiceover. That was really awesome. It was an interesting way to reintroduce a character, though, in a new context. It was very neat seeing, like, I don't know, we've had the kind of reverse scenario where we have seen the animated characters cross over into the live action realm in Mandalorian, specifically season 2, and so it was interesting seeing the kind of reverse happen with Fennec Shand, seeing an animated character that we've seen previously in live action first as her first introduction. So it was very neat, but also what I found was interesting is that she's kind of the enemy here in this situation, I guess, for lack of a better word. I wouldn't say she's the bad guy. She's just like a bounty hunter doing her job, which we know she's good at, but it was interesting to see how we go from like rooting for her in Mandalorian, like she's a boss in that show, one of like the coolest characters. It's just interesting how as the context changes, so does like our perception of the character. I don't know, because clearly now she is going to be a threat, or at least an opponent or an obstacle that the Bad Batch is going to have to work around now. Like, she's not necessarily the good guy in this case. Oh my god. We're fighting the 1 a.m. voice here. Again, this is just going to be a common occurrence throughout all of these videos. Please bear with me. But yeah, I thought it was just very interesting how she's kind of the enemy now in this situation now that Omega is her target. So yeah, other than that, I once again, of course, I really just appreciated the tone of this episode. Again, it reminded me very much of like Underworld, Coruscant, specifically again, this chase scene, going back to that reminded me so much of Attack of the Clones, specifically like when Obi-Wan and Anakin are like hunting down Zam Vessel, I think her name is. and in like nighttime Coruscant and like this kind of like ship speeder battle that was really, that's the kind of tone that I was getting from this episode. It reminded me so much of that scenario in Attack of the Clones, so that was really cool. And I also really liked the kind of world building that they're doing here by having this parade of clone stormtroopers. I don't know what they are at this point, and showing people cheering for them and showing them, painting them as like the solution, the peacekeepers, the solution to the war. And I think it was important to show and help build this specific time period freshly after Revenge of the Sith, freshly after the war is over, showing where people stand and how they're looking now at the Empire as, yes, like the solution. They brought peace. I think that was just a really important addition to help build the setting here, build the timeline, build the context. But yes, in terms of Omega, I will say, and I know this might sound hypocritical, because as I did mention before, I like that we kind of saw her have these Mary Sue moments, and I'm not using that word. I know some people, I'm using that word only because I know that that's how some people have described her just innate special abilities in terms of her perfect aim when she's like facing off against Crosshair, again, like the perfect marksman of the group. I know we saw her have some very like enhanced moments, I guess, where her abilities were shining through and she seemed to be this like all-powerful 12-year-old child. And I had mentioned how I liked that the second episode was kind of a counterbalance to that. It was like a little bit showing more inquisitiveness and her curiosity, and showing that despite her abilities and her enhancements, she is still a kid at heart and has a lot to learn. That being said, though, I'm hoping that this isn't going to be a continual theme of her. And again, I know it's still early, I know it's only like the 4th episode, but I'm hoping that there's not going to be this continuing theme of them trying to just do a mission, get this one task done, and Omega kind of running off and causing trouble. Again, I know it wasn't entirely her fault this episode because she was literally being hunted by a bounty hunter. I'm hoping that's not going to be the continuing trend, and then they have to go and save her. I know that it helps to build their relationship and protective dynamic over Omega in terms of the group as a whole, and it's really cute to see like Wrecker have that moment with Fennec and be like, if you're going through her, you're going through me. Whatever he said in that moment before he hit his head again. But yeah, as much as I think it's important to see like the group's eagerness to go and like save her if something wrong happens to her, like they clearly don't want anything bad to happen to her, I hope that that's not the continuing trend and that she starts to be able to like handle herself a little bit more, which it was clear that she could when she was on the speeder with like Fennec, that like little transport like cargo ship, and she figured out how to flip the switch to like flip Fennec off, literally. But again, I'm hoping that there won't be too many episodes left in the early stages of this season where we're seeing kind of like Omega causing a problem by wandering off and being curious, and then the Bad Batch members having to like come and rescue her because she's a kid. Like, I want to see more moments like what there were in the 3rd episode where she was able to get herself out of a sticky situation when it was Hunter who was in trouble and needed help. So in terms of who Fennec Shand is working for, I have no guesses. For some reason, my initial instinct was Crimson Dawn. I don't know why though. That would be the first thought that came to my mind because I don't even know how or why they would know of Omega's existence. But like I said, I don't doubt that the Kaminoans want her back, like potentially. And I know it was like her companion that like let them go initially, but I think the other Kaminoans don't know that she did that. I think the other Kaminoans probably naturally think that the Bad Batch kidnapped Omega, or that she was like, you know, taken, like, and if she is as special as the show is insinuating that she is, they obviously wouldn't want her just running around the galaxy, you know, with the Bad Batch, who are like fugitives at this point. So I'm not making any predictions. You guys know, don't ever listen to my theories, because what do I know? But yeah, I think that is pretty much all I've got. And my throat is really starting to just be monotone and robotic at this point, so I'm just gonna wrap it up by saying that I really enjoyed this episode. I liked the pace of it, but I hope, again, future episodes continue to go back and flash to Kamino and show what Crosshair is going through also. And of course, if you have any predictions, I literally love reading your guys' predictions and your theories and your hypotheses and everything that you've been commenting. Please keep it up. I really really love reading what you guys have to say because I feel like your guys' predictions are always just better than mine. But yes, that is going to be it from me today, guys. As always, I apologize if this video was choppy and not super concise, but again, it's 12:30 in the morning, but I've been really enjoying getting out these kind of like just my raw initial impressions of the episode. But yes, thank you guys as always so much for watching. May the force be with you guys always, and I will see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.